What's going on, everybody? This is Jackass with ApexHead.com bringing you episode 17 of the I Am No Expert series. And we are getting very close to the end of this run with Force India. This is our first season in career mode for F1 2011. And going to be competing here in India. And as many of you know, this is the first season with India on the calendar. It's actually a very fun circuit. I've enjoyed racing here, although it has been a while, so that's my initial concern going in, is just how long it's going to take me to get warmed up. And my race expectation for this race is to finish 5th. Taking a quick look at the starting grid, we've got Fernando Alonso on pole position, and you can see the Mercedes bunched up in 7th and 8th. And meanwhile, I qualified in P13 and my teammate Sutil qualified P18. And it looks like I'll be racing with the Sauber, Renault, and Williams for this race, which has been pretty par for the course over the last handful of races. Now taking a quick look at our setup, and I have to say this setup has done me a lot of good. I was struggling with the default setup and tracked this one down, I believe, on racedepartment.com. And it did help. I know that it doesn't really show in my qualifying position, but to be honest with you, I really haven't been spending a lot of time practicing. Been picking up the game sort of in between the seconds, and that's not a very healthy way to stay sharp when it comes to this game. As you can see, going to start off on the prime tires, and we are due to pit in lap 7 to throw on the options. But getting back to what I was saying, you know, this game demands a lot of practice, and if you don't have the time or don't put in the time to do that, it's, you know, at least for me, it takes me a while to get kind of back into it. It just takes a lot of rhythm, and haven't been able to spend quite as much time on it as I'd like. I do intend to make a change in that come F1 2012. I'll be back, you know, reinvested into the series, but for now, going to have to do the best that we can with the hand that we're dealt here in P13. So starting off behind Heidfeld in the Renault, and Sergio Perez in the Sauber on the right-hand side. Turn 1, very difficult. Not much of a visual cue for braking points, and now contact with Kobayashi and slicing on the inside of the grid, and now very congested, heading up into the hairpin. And see what we can do here. Now contact on the right-hand side and being pushed onto the inside of the curb by Webber in the Red Bull. And Massa goes wide, and now competing with him, unable to get around him. And wow, that was a really ugly sequence heading into that hard right hairpin. Now Maldonado thinking about making a move here. He's got the length of the track to do it, but he has to yield. Barely runs out, but now looking on the inside here, and we are able to keep it on track and stay ahead of him for the moment up into P4. Now heading into what I think is the most difficult corner of the race, and you can see Maldonado having a look here on the inside, and as I go wide, and he's able to get around me. Overtaken by Maldonado, now trying to keep pace and lose grip here over the curb, and now fishtailing. Contact with Rosberg and the Mercedes as he swings by, and Sergio Perez very keen on getting around me on the inside here. And wow, I've dropped from 4th to 6th just from that sequence of events, and now I've got the Sauber breathing down my neck as I go a little bit wide there. And now contact with the Sauber, wheel to wheel as we head into the second to last corner, and able to take an inside line to maintain my position for now anyway, as we come around the last corner before the start-finish straight. And thus concludes lap 1. So the good news is we've gained quite a few positions. The bad news is, of course, I had the near off going over the curb and dropped from 4th to 6th, but see what we can do. As you can see, trying to maintain pace with Rosberg, and very slow AI cutting up on the inside, and there is slight contact with Rosberg. No warning from the stewards, but was not expecting him to slow down that much, and basically broke a little too late, and that was pretty much my fault. But apparently light enough contact that there was no warning from the stewards. As you can see, I hit purple in sector 1. Rosberg having a look, but thinks better of it as we come around the bend at the end of that long straight. And now up into P5 here in lap 2. So now skipping ahead to lap 5, and as you can tell by the title sequence, this would not end well. And quick correction, this is actually the end of lap 4 heading into lap 5. So right now running a P5 position, trying to stay ahead of Rosberg, and you can see that a number of cars have gone into pit, and this will put us up into P2, now chasing down Maldonado in the Williams. And ideally, with the leaders having gone into pit, this would be one of my best laps. So Gonna have to see what we can do to try and make up some time and hopefully steal a position or two in the pits. But you can see I go wide here, the hairpin that's just given me problems the entire race, and that's gonna let Rosberg by. And now trying to chase him down the straight, and Sergio Perez in the Sauber behind. Let's see if he has the pace to make a move. You can see that I'm holding pretty good speed, keeping up with Rosberg. Going to try and make a move here, and brake too late. And Rosberg easily able to maintain his position. And now Sergio Perez getting in on the action, and he overtakes me as well. So now down into P4 just like that. So following the Sauber through, again, one of the hardest corners in the game for me here as we try and maintain pace. And you can see Barrichello on the Williams is thinking about making a move. And there's his chance as I go wide off the track, and Barrichello able to overtake easily on the outside. So another position has been forfeited, and very much struggling with my focus right now. Now having a look on the Barrichello on the inside, that's not going to work. Going to try and be patient. And get it wrong on the curb again, and now Petrov having a look on the outside. He goes off track. He's able to overtake for a moment. Going to try and challenge here on the inside, and able to salvage just a little bit of pride by getting P5 back. But yet another scare, and thankfully for me, all of the cars that just overtook me now going into pit. And that's going to put me back up into P2, still chasing Maldonado down after all that. But a very, very ugly lap, probably one of the worst I've had all season. And even though it hasn't cost me in the way of positions, it's definitely cost me in the way of time. Let's see if we can handle the hairpin with no traffic in front of us, and we are able to. And now you can see that my fuel gauge has indicated that I'm down to an optimal level. Going to go ahead and switch my fuel mix back down to standard. I did change it earlier on, and we are rewarded with a purple sector time in sector 1. So now skipping ahead to the pit stop here at the end of lap 7. And currently running in P1, but don't forget I started on the prime tires and wanted to leapfrog the leaders to switch onto the options. And now having a hard time finding the pit road and go wide and almost hit the wall there. That was almost a complete disaster as I changed my fuel mix down to lean. And here come the leaders bypassing me now down into P3, P4. Let's see what kind of time we get from the team. And a very slow stop, almost 5.5 seconds, and that's with an empty pit road. That is basically a complete disaster. But no time to worry about that now as I turn my fuel mix back to standard and rejoin in P7, now following Barrichello in the Williams and being followed by Perez on the Sauber. So now making an inside move on Barrichello at the hairpin here. He cuts on the inside, now contact, and now we are wheel to wheel going down the main straight. And you can see that I was using my KERS there to get through the first few sets of gears. And now chasing him down, feeling pretty confident that I can pass him at the braking point. But now Sauber also having a look, able to get by Barrichello there. But now there's very aggressive moves on the inside by both the Williams and the Sauber. And now racing with Barrichello on the outside. And now coming through the sequence of corners, this is going to be a challenge in a very, very ugly line I took there. But able to keep the AI behind me, at least for the moment. But remember, these sets of corners have given me a hard time the entire race. So definitely cannot sit on my hands and think that I've got any sort of advantage right now. So despite the utter failure in the pit lane, able to get ahead of Barrichello. Remember, he was the only car that passed me after that slow pit stop, and for now able to stay ahead of him. Still got a little ways to go, but we're going to go ahead and skip to the end of lap 11, and you can see still maintaining P6. Maintaining my pace in front of the Williams, and we're going to see the fastest lap on the final lap and see what we can do about keeping this position. As you can see, I go wide at the final hairpin, but no real threat of anyone behind me for now. We can see cars up ahead. As you can see, I hit the fastest lap of the race, but definitely going to have to manage some back markers here. Now looking at Kovalainen in the Lotus, and going to pass him pretty easily here on the inside. And hopefully no more mistakes here. Very, very clean coming around there. Activate the DRS. And as you can see, running the richer fuel mix, and my fuel gauge just dropped down to optimal, but given that it's the last lap, we don't care about that at all. Don't think that we're going to be able to catch up any of the back markers here at the end of the long straight, and we will not as I hit purple in sector 1. And now trying to see who exactly is ahead of me. I wonder if that's Maldonado. who is currently running P5, but that gives us hope, albeit very, very slim hope, that we could potentially make up one last position. And again, I can't actually verify that that is Maldonado, but going to go ahead and do my best to stay behind him just in case. And we hit purple in Sector 2. Again, this is the fastest lap of the race, and it's probably pretty easy to see why. This is definitely the cleanest lap that I've had the entire race, but also, of course, my fuel load is extremely low right now. And now I am very convinced that that's Maldonado just up ahead, as we're not able to close the gap on him much at all. And now, of course, we've run out of time. We've got one last corner to go here, so short of him having a major failure, which he does not, going to go ahead and hold this position and finish in P6. So was able to make up some ground there after my pit stop, and again, that's going back out on the options, and that did help me. But was not able to get P5, but of course was able to gain 7 positions. So let's take a look at the final results here. So Fernando Alonso able to hang on to the victory, starting from pole position, followed by Hamilton and then Vettel. And got to give my props to Williams. They had a very, very quick race, probably their best results of the year. You can see my teammate finishing in P14, so a decent result given his typical finishing place. And had a couple DNFs in Weber and Sebastian Buemi in the Toro Rosso. All in all, a little disappointed in myself. Most of this condensed race did not include a couple of other problems that I had with going off and losing time, so pretty frustrating. Hopefully I can make up some ground in terms of my own self-confidence heading into Abu Dhabi as we go to Yas Marina from here, and then it will be down to Brazil, Interlagos and Sao Paulo, which is probably my second favorite circuit on the calendar behind Spa. So obviously looking forward to that race. So hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. Feel free to check out my channel for all the videos prior to if you want to see how this season has unfolded. Obviously all those have commentary, and also if you have any interest in Forza 4, I have a great deal of number of Forza 4 videos, including about 22 or 23 or so with commentary, so feel free to check that out. And I should mention that all of those videos can be found in the playlist links located in the description of this video. So thanks again everybody, and I will see you next time.